When two separate events occur simultaneously pertaining to the same object in inquiry, we must always pay strict attention. Had the manifestation of Nut, the unveiling of the company of heaven. Every man and every woman is a star. Every number is infinite. There is no difference. And thus began the Book of the Law. Today is April 8th, 2025. On April 8th, 1904, Aleister Crowley, on honeymoon with his wife Rose, were in Cairo. After performing a ritual in the Great Pyramid, Crowley received from a preternatural intelligence known as Iwas the Book of the Law over 3 successive days, April 8th, 9th, and 10th, between the hours of noon and 1. Oddly enough, 86 years later, April 8th, 1990, another reception occurred, and that was the premiere of David Lynch and Mark Frost's Twin Peaks. Coincidence? You've heard me speak many times about Moonchild and Crowley's influence on the story of Twin Peaks. I think the two are definitely intertwined in strange and unusual ways, some by design and some not so. I have no idea where this will lead us, but I have a definite feeling it will be a place both wonderful and strange. So I mentioned that it was an 86-year gap between the first day of the reception of the Book of the Law and the first day of the reception of Twin Peaks. If you look into gematria, the number 86 is an important number. It is the number of Rahu or Kut, which has some real significance to the story. Now, I've always felt that 2025 was going to be an important year, not only in terms of Twin Peaks, but in the law of Thelema. So if we examine those numbers, today is the 121st anniversary of the reception of the Book of the Law. The number 121, when examined through gematria, is the number of Babylon. It is 35 years since the reception of Twin Peaks. In gematria, the number 35 correlates to Horus. This is the Aeon of Horus, the conquering child. Lynch passes away in 2025. And the significance of world events in conflagration with both Thelema and Twin Peaks as mirrors of the dynamics that are unfolding all around us. I've been obsessed with Twin Peaks since it first aired. In 1990, David Lynch and Mark Frost introduced the world to Twin Peaks, a quirky serial drama that centered on the mysterious death of a beloved but troubled high school student, Laura Palmer. The themes of the White and Black Lodge play heavily into the intricate plot, incorporating the magical writings of Aleister Crowley and Native American lore to paint a vivid and surreal picture of the battle between these two forces. I was already a Lynch fan, already a Mark Frost, and they're coming together and producing this just wonderful, quirky story that can be viewed on so many different levels. On the surface, it's a humorous reflection of television as a whole, particularly the nighttime soap dramas, and so it's a weird little mirror of the way they kind of play with those tropes. On the other side is this horrific horror story involving, a teenage prom queen who gets caught up in just all these horrific things. But there is a third element beyond the quirky humor, beyond the terror and horror. There is the spiritual, the metaphysical, the way that Lynch and Frost weave in and out of the concepts of the Black Lodge, of that dark night of the soul. And it's just wonderfully viewed as a whole, and how each subset kind of make this perfect soup of uplifting and inspiring fiction. Now, I find it fascinating that Crowley is such an integral part to the Twin Peaks narrative. And I highly recommend the reading of the Book of the Law, especially today. And Moonchild, I recommend highly. The Book of the Law, as poetry, is a beautiful work. Whether or not you put much weight in the fact that it was delivered from a preternatural intelligence or not, as a work of poetry, it's a beautiful piece. Lynch's occult world building is surreal and dreamlike, a perfect milieu for the strange and unusual. It can be difficult to navigate, especially when his cinematic alchemy collides with the chimeric northwest of he and Mark Frost's fertile imaginations. I was drawn to Twin Peaks by its dark themes and its quirky and unusual storytelling, but in the end, it's the characters that breathe life into the tale, and none breathe more deeply than the creators themselves and their most diabolical muse. There are uncomfortable truths to discover in the world Lynch and Frost created, uncomfortable truths that Crowley mined, oftentimes indelicately. Twin Peaks and Thelema are brought together in a sort of alchemical wedding, and we are all the better for it. So, that's all I have for you today. I'm going to spend some time reading the Book of the Law, as I do every year at this time, and watching the Twin Peaks pilot. Happy feast of the first day of the reception of the Book of the Law, and a blessed feast of the first day of the reception of Twin Peaks. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. The owls are not what they seem.